Welcome to our journey of exploring the lesser-known effects of excessive generosity. While being kind and compassionate are essential virtues, giving too much can paradoxically lead us away from our path to well-being. Today, we will delve into 8 surprising ways excessive generosity can harm you, offering insights from the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. This video aims to provoke reflection on how we approach kindness in our daily lives and offer strategies grounded in Stoic principles to help us maintain a balanced and virtuous existence. Stay with us until the end to uncover these practical Stoic strategies, as they may just be the key to reclaiming your time, energy, and peace of mind. Let's begin by exploring the first surprising effect of excessive generosity. 1. You attract people who only take and never give. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to gravitate toward you only when they need something? While it's noble to offer help to those in need, Stoicism encourages us to be discerning about who we choose to help. If you find yourself constantly giving to people who never offer anything in return, it's time to pause and ask, am I attracting people who genuinely appreciate me? Or am I drawing in those who merely seek to exploit my kindness? In the teachings of the Stoics, discernment is a crucial virtue. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, advised that we should choose our associations carefully, as the company we keep can influence our behavior and attitudes. When we attract people who only take from us, it not only drains our resources, but also lowers the quality of our relationships. The lack of reciprocity is a sign that the connection may be based on convenience rather than mutual respect and genuine goodwill. The cost of indiscriminate giving. Stoicism teaches that all things should be done in moderation, including kindness. When our generosity is indiscriminate, we may find ourselves surrounded by people who lack the ability or the will to give back. These individuals might come to rely on us, seeing our kindness as an unending resource rather than a reciprocal exchange. This one-sided dynamic can lead to feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and even self-doubt. The Stoic approach is to evaluate our motives and the outcomes of our actions. Ask yourself, am I giving because it is virtuous, or am I giving to fulfill a need for approval or validation? The answers to these questions can help us better understand whether our generosity serves us or if it depletes us. Reflection: the importance of mutual support. In true friendships, there is a natural balance of give and take. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of finding balance in relationships and cautioned against giving excessively to those who do not share our values or reciprocate our efforts. A healthy relationship, whether it is with a friend, family member, or partner, is one where support is mutual. Consider the people in your life. Are they there for you when you need them, or do they only appear when they stand to gain something? If you notice that your relationships are overwhelmingly one-sided, it may be time to reevaluate them. How do you break the cycle of overgiving? Recognizing that you attract people who only take from you is the first step. The next is breaking the cycle by setting boundaries and practicing self-control. Stoicism teaches that we should be masters of our own time and energy. As Seneca wisely put it, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. By worrying about how others will react to our newfound boundaries, we might delay making necessary changes. Yet, in practice, you may find that setting limits on your generosity strengthens your relationships, as it allows you to give more meaningfully and in ways that truly matter. Remember, the quality of your relationships affects the quality of your life. As you begin to set these boundaries, you might notice some relationships fade away while others grow stronger. This is a natural part of aligning your life with Stoic principles. 2. You develop unrealistic expectations. Generosity is often associated with selflessness But even the most selfless acts can carry hidden expectations. Have you ever felt frustrated when someone didn't reciprocate your kindness? Stoicism advises us to manage our expectations and avoid placing our happiness in the hands of others. When we give with an expectation of receiving something in return, we set ourselves up for disappointment. The danger of expecting reciprocity. While it's natural to expect some form of acknowledgement or gratitude for our efforts, Stoicism teaches us to let go of such expectations. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In this case, the enemy is our own dissatisfaction with the behavior of others. If we become upset when our generosity is not reciprocated, we are giving others power over our emotions. Ask yourself, do I give to truly help others, or do I give to feel appreciated? If your motivation is to feel needed or valued, you may find that your expectations are often unmet, leading to frustration and bitterness. Stoicism encourages us to give for the sake of virtue, not for praise or reciprocation. Managing disappointment through emotional detachment. The Stoics believed in the practice of emotional detachment, not to be confused with indifference, but as a way to maintain inner peace. By detaching from the expectation that others will treat us as we treat them, we cultivate a sense of tranquility. When we give without expecting anything in return, we free ourselves from the emotional burdens associated with unfulfilled expectations. Reflect on your past experiences. How often have your expectations led to disappointment? Understanding this can help you approach future situations with a mindset of emotional freedom. You give because it aligns with your principles, not because you anticipate a reward. Are your expectations holding you back? Unrealistic expectations can hinder personal growth and lead to a cycle of frustration. By practicing Stoicism, we learn to view each act of kindness as its own reward. If others fail to recognize our efforts, it is not a reflection of our worth, but a sign that they may not share our values. To break free from the cycle of unrealistic expectations, practice gratitude for the opportunity to help others. This perspective shift can transform the way you view your interactions, focusing on the act of giving itself rather than the outcomes. In the next section, we will explore how excessive generosity can erode your personal boundaries, leaving you vulnerable to exploitation. Join us as we continue to navigate the fine line between kindness and self-sacrifice. 3. Your personal boundaries are eroded. Generosity is a virtue, but when practiced without limits, it can compromise your personal well-being. Have you ever found yourself saying yes to requests even when it felt inconvenient or burdensome? Over time, this pattern can erode your personal boundaries, making it difficult to protect your own needs and priorities. Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-control and setting boundaries to maintain a life of virtue and inner tranquility. The consequences of always saying yes. When we give excessively, we can condition others to expect constant support from us. This expectation can turn into a habit for them, causing our personal boundaries to gradually weaken. You might start to notice that your time, energy, and resources are no longer your own, as they are repeatedly devoted to fulfilling the needs of others. Reflect on your experiences. How often have you put aside your own plans to accommodate someone else's needs? The Stoic approach emphasizes that while helping others is important, it should not come at the cost of neglecting our own responsibilities and values. If we fail to set limits, we risk losing control over our lives, leading to stress, resentment, and burnout. Stoic wisdom on maintaining boundaries. Epictetus once said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." In the context of generosity, this means understanding your own limits and valuing your time. Practicing self-control involves recognizing when to say no and accepting that it is not a sign of weakness, but rather an act of self-respect. By setting clear boundaries, we are better equipped to help others in meaningful ways, without compromising our own well-being. Ask yourself, are there situations where I feel obligated to say yes, even when I don't want to? If so, consider why you feel this way. Is it because you fear disappointing others, or are you trying to avoid conflict? Stoicism encourages us to confront these fears and act according to reason, rather than letting external pressures dictate our actions. Reclaiming your space and time. To protect your personal boundaries, you need to be firm in your decisions and recognize that it is okay to prioritize your own needs. This does not mean being selfish. It means understanding that your time and energy are valuable resources that should be managed with care. When you respect your boundaries, others will begin to respect them too. 4. You are perceived as weak. In a world that often equates kindness with weakness, being excessively generous can lead to being taken advantage of. If you find yourself constantly giving without expecting anything in return, you may notice that people start to view you as someone who can easily be manipulated or taken for granted. The Stoic approach teaches us that strength comes from the ability to maintain self-control and set boundaries, not from the willingness to accommodate every request. The consequences of being perceived as weak. When people see that you rarely refuse their requests, they may begin to see you as an easy target for offloading their responsibilities. Instead of appreciating your kindness, they may start to exploit it, assuming that you will always be available to help. Over time, this can diminish your sense of self-worth and make you feel powerless. Ask yourself, have I noticed others relying on me more than they should? If so, this could be a sign that your generosity is being perceived as a weakness. It is important to recognize that true strength lies in knowing when to give and when to hold back. As Seneca wrote, "A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not." Similarly, a wise person understands that it is not always virtuous to give in to every demand. How saying no can change perceptions. Stoicism emphasizes the power of the word no. It is a tool that can help you reclaim your time and reinforce your boundaries. When you start to say no to unreasonable requests, people will begin to respect you more, as they realize that you have the strength to prioritize your own needs. This does not mean rejecting everyone outright, but rather choosing when to give your time and energy thoughtfully. Reflect on how often you find yourself saying yes out of habit. Are there opportunities where saying no would help you regain control of your time? Practice saying no to smaller requests first, and gradually work your way up to setting stronger boundaries. The path to earning respect. By setting boundaries and not accommodating every demand, you signal to others that your kindness is intentional and purposeful, not a sign of weakness. This will encourage them to treat you with more respect. In the following section, we will explore how overgiving can lead to addictive patterns of behavior. 5. You fall into addictive patterns. Generosity, when practiced without limits, can become a way to escape deeper issues, leading to addictive behaviors. Have you ever found yourself repeatedly offering help to distract from your own problems or to gain a sense of purpose? The teachings of Stoicism encourage us to examine our motives and cultivate self-awareness to avoid falling into patterns that harm our well-being. The cycle of overgiving as an escape. When we give excessively, we might do so to fill an emotional void, avoid loneliness, or gain approval from others. This can lead to a cycle where generosity becomes a coping mechanism rather than a virtuous act. Just like other addictive behaviors, the need to give can spiral out of control, consuming our time and energy in ways that leave us drained rather than fulfilled. Ask yourself, am I giving because it is the right thing to do, or am I using it as a way to distract myself? By understanding our true motivations, we can break the cycle of overgiving and cultivate a more balanced approach to kindness. Stoic strategies for avoiding addictive patterns. Stoicism teaches that moderation is key in all things. This includes generosity. Practicing self-control and setting limits on how much we give helps us maintain a healthy relationship with our actions. When we find ourselves relying on kindness to gain a sense of worth, it is a sign that we need to redirect our focus inward and address the root cause of our behavior. Reflect on any situations where you felt compelled to help others, despite feeling exhausted or resentful. Is your generosity truly serving you, or is it masking other problems? Stoicism encourages us to seek solutions within ourselves, not through external validation. Breaking free from the need to overgive. To avoid falling into addictive patterns, practice mindfulness and self-reflection. Consider setting specific limits on how much time and energy you devote to helping others each week. This will help you maintain a sense of balance and prevent generosity from becoming a harmful habit. Next, we will discuss how overgiving can lead to neglecting your own priorities. Let's explore how to strike a balance between helping others and taking care of your own responsibilities. 5. You fall into addictive patterns. Generosity, when practiced without limits, can become a way to escape deeper issues, leading to addictive behaviors. Have you ever found yourself repeatedly offering help to distract from your own problems or to gain a sense of purpose? The teachings of Stoicism encourage us to examine our motives and cultivate self-awareness to avoid falling into patterns that harm our well-being. The cycle of overgiving as an escape. When we give excessively, we might do so to fill an emotional void, avoid loneliness, or gain approval from others. This can lead to a cycle where generosity becomes a coping mechanism rather than a virtuous act. Just like other addictive behaviors, the need to give can spiral out of control, consuming our time and energy in ways that leave us drained rather than fulfilled. Ask yourself, am I giving because it is the right thing to do, or am I using it as a way to distract myself? By understanding our true motivations, we can break the cycle of overgiving and cultivate a more balanced approach to kindness. Stoic strategies for avoiding addictive patterns. Stoicism teaches that moderation is key in all things. This includes generosity. Practicing self-control and setting limits on how much we give helps us maintain a healthy relationship with our actions. When we find ourselves relying on kindness to gain a sense of worth, it is a sign that we need to redirect our focus inward and address the root cause of our behavior. Reflect on any situations where you felt compelled to help others, despite feeling exhausted or resentful. Is your generosity truly serving you, or is it masking other problems? Stoicism encourages us to seek solutions within ourselves, not through external validation. Breaking free from the need to overgive. To avoid falling into addictive patterns, practice mindfulness and self-reflection. Consider setting specific limits on how much time and energy you devote to helping others each week. This will help you maintain a sense of balance and prevent generosity from becoming a harmful habit. Next, we will discuss how overgiving can lead to neglecting your own priorities. Let's explore how to strike a balance between helping others and taking care of your own responsibilities. 6. You neglect your own priorities. Excessive generosity often leads to neglecting one's own needs and goals. When we constantly prioritize others, we risk sidelining our personal ambitions and responsibilities. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living in accordance with our nature and taking care of our own affairs before attending to the needs of others. The consequences of putting others. First, when we devote too much time to helping others, our own priorities may start to slip away. This can manifest in neglected hobbies, postponed personal projects, or even declining health. Over time, the cumulative effect of putting others first can erode our sense of purpose and fulfillment. Reflect on your current commitments. Are you giving so much to others that you have little left for yourself? The teachings of Stoicism suggest that we should focus on our own development before trying to assist others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, we must first cultivate our own virtue and well-being. Stoic practices for rebalancing your priorities. To restore balance, start by setting clear boundaries around your time. Allocate specific periods for your personal interests and responsibilities, and treat these commitments with the same importance as you would for someone else. Practicing self-discipline in this way aligns with the Stoic belief in living a life of reason and purpose. Ask yourself, are there areas of my life that I have neglected due to excessive giving? If so, consider how you can start to reinvest in those areas. This might involve revisiting a hobby, setting new personal goals, or simply taking more time for self-care. Finding a balance between giving and self-care. Remember that your well-being is essential to your ability to help others. By prioritizing your own needs, you ensure that you remain strong, balanced, and capable of providing support when it is truly needed. In the next section, we will explore how excessive kindness can raise suspicions rather than admiration. 7. You raise suspicions instead of admiration. It may seem counterintuitive, but being too generous can lead others to question your motives. In a world where true kindness is rare, people might suspect that you have ulterior motives. Stoicism teaches us that our focus should be on living virtuously, regardless of how others perceive our actions. The reality of distrust toward genuine kindness. People may be skeptical of your generosity if they are not used to experiencing such selflessness. They might question your intentions, wondering if you are seeking recognition, favors, or hidden rewards. This suspicion can damage your reputation, even when your intentions are pure. Ask yourself, have I encountered situations where others seemed wary of my kindness? While it is natural to feel frustrated by such reactions, Stoicism encourages us to continue acting in accordance with our values. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." In other words, maintain your integrity despite how others may perceive you. Living with virtue, regardless of perception. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our internal character rather than external appearances. When we act with virtue, we fulfill our duty to ourselves and the world. It is important not to let others' skepticism deter us from living according to our principles. If you encounter doubt or suspicion, see it as an opportunity to demonstrate your commitment to your values. Reflect on times when you felt misunderstood. Did the skepticism affect your desire to continue being kind? If so, consider how you can separate your actions from others' opinions. Let your kindness be a reflection of who you are, not how you want to be seen. Cultivating genuine kindness, without expectation. By practicing Stoic detachment from others' perceptions, you can continue to act kindly while freeing yourself from the burden of others' judgments. In the final section, we will discuss the problem of fair-weather friends and how to cultivate more authentic connections. 8. You end up with fair-weather friends. When you give excessively, you may attract people who are only around when they need something. These fair-weather friends may disappear when times get tough or when you require help yourself. Stoicism advises us to value true friendships based on mutual respect and shared values rather than superficial connections. The danger of one-sided relationships. Excessive generosity can lead to friendships where the dynamic is entirely one-sided. You may find that your kindness is taken for granted, and your efforts to maintain the relationship go unreciprocated. Over time, this can lead to feelings of isolation, as you may realize that those you considered friends are not there when you need support. Reflect on your relationships. Are there people in your life who only reach out when they need something? If so, it may be time to reassess the value of these connections. According to Stoicism, a true friend is one who values your character and shares in your commitment to virtue. Building authentic relationships. To cultivate genuine friendships, focus on building connections with people who share similar values and appreciate mutual support. Practice discernment in choosing who to help, and do not hesitate to distance yourself from relationships that drain your energy without offering anything in return. This aligns with the Stoic principle of prioritizing quality over quantity in relationships. Ask yourself, what qualities do I value in a true friend? Seek out those who embody these qualities and invest your time in building relationships based on mutual respect and shared values. While generosity is a valuable trait, practicing it excessively can lead to a variety of negative consequences. Stoicism teaches us to seek balance in all things, including our acts of kindness. By setting boundaries, managing expectations, and cultivating authentic relationships, we can avoid the pitfalls of overgiving while still living a life of virtue. If this video has resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you experienced any of these effects of excessive generosity? How have Stoic principles helped you find a balance? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more insights on Stoicism, and share this video with friends who might benefit from a deeper understanding of kindness. Thank you for watching, and may you continue to practice virtue with wisdom and balance.